Making headlines tonight. More jobs as petroleum company Rubis expands. The Prince's Trust International Team Program making a positive impact on the youth. Barbados and Guyana strengthening business relations. And coming up in sports, the Barbados team off to a winning start at the Netball World Cup in England.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC Newsnight, starting now.
I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. More jobs are coming for Barbadians as petroleum supplier Rubis is set to expand its operations here. Word of this from the company's Chief Executive Officer for the Eastern Caribbean, Mauricio Nichols. He broke the news as Commerce Minister Dwight Sutherland and senior officials from his ministry paid a courtesy call at Rubis's West Indies headquarters in Welches. Rubis has 17 service stations in Barbados, but that number is set to increase to 19 in the coming year. Apart from the 2 stations, Mr. Nichols says 2 others will also be refurbished.
These are not small investments. These are investments that are a brand new station is an investment of probably, I would say, 8 million to 9 million Barbados, something like that. And a refurbishment of a service station is probably in the neighborhood of, say, 3 million Barbados dollars. So substantial investments, big investments. But we do them because we are aware that we need to offer to the Bajan consumer a very good shopping experience when they buy their fuel and convenience stores goods at our stores.
Commerce Minister Dwight Sutherland praises Rubis for its efforts and contributions to Barbados since commencing operations here back in 2011.
Rubis has an employment level of some 100 employees, direct employment level of some 100 employees in this country. But when we look at indirect employment, Rubis accounts for some 400 indirect employees in this country. And indeed that's significant employment levels that Rubis would have generated in this country over the last 7 years.
Now, at a time when concerns about youth violence are high, one program is making strides by providing young people with positive guidance. It's the Prince's Trust International Team Program, a collaboration between the British charity and the Royal Barbados Police Force. Recently, over a dozen young people successfully completed the program, and the CBC was there for the closing ceremony. Lorna Jones reports.
Young people in Barbados in the 16 to 25 age group are the most likely to become involved in criminal activity. In fact, Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police Ian Branch says the trends shown in statistics over the past few years are worrying. In 2016, 818 youth in that age group were arrested and charged for crimes. In 2017, 823, and in 2018, 668. He says the Prince's Trust International Team Program, which specifically targets this at-risk age group, is a plus for the force's broader community policing efforts. Since it was introduced to the force by their British counterparts in 2016, it has already made an impact on scores of young people.
Today, 83 young persons, inclusive of the 14 graduating today, has successfully completed the program. Our analysis has revealed that 70% of the participants who participated in the pilot program conducted in 2016 secured employment or became enrolled in an educational or vocational training institution.
The Acting Assistant Commissioner says efforts like these are critical in the criminal justice fight.
Our efforts in combating the increasing level of youth crime must be collaborative, especially as it relates to the involvement of governmental and non-governmental agencies in identifying creative ways to reducing violence among the youth.
The program involves outdoor activities, community challenges, and classroom learning over 12 weeks. Participants are provided with job hunting skills, training, and educational assistance. Delivery Partner Manager, Acting Inspector Roland Cobbler says now they will also have additional support.
In order to provide additional support for our young people, we will be commencing a mentorship program. Mentoring is the presence of a caring individual who provides young people with support, advice, friendship, reinforcement, and positive modeling over time. In this regard, our participants, for the first time, will be assigned a mentor to provide them with that support.
This was the 6th session of the program. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
During the closing ceremony for the Prince's Trust International Team Program, participants took to the podium to talk about their experiences. They had positive reviews of the program.
For the young teens and young adults out there, I recommend this program if they're home, confused, and don't know what to do. Try this program. I would guarantee it will change your life for the better.
This program really helped me to manage my feelings, and I would really recommend the program to any young person to help them feel more alive and learn how the real world works.
The program teaches me how to be a better person and a more reliable person. It also teaches me how to be on time for work, look decent, and be more responsible. This program is a very good program for young students that don't have any CSEs or CV skills, but I'm more sure for all the young students that are out there, you can try this program and see what it does with your life.
Former Magistrate Faith Marshall Harris believes more interventions are needed to save 14 and 15-year-old children from being lured into gangs, drugs, and other deviant activity. Leading by example, the Faith Marshall Harris Sandy Lane Charitable Trust Helpline is organizing a camp at the Grantley Adams Memorial School. The camp runs from August 12th to 23rd and will be followed by other activities throughout the school year.
Our camp is called Camp Inspire because we're hoping to lift up the children, show them love, affection, give them direction, guidance, all the things that the rights of the child say that every child should have. We hope to focus on them, 50 children during the camp, and make sure that for them life will be significantly different.
Acting principal at the Grantley Adams Memorial School, Major Andrew Skeet, believes the camp will be very helpful for the students.
50 children from our school will benefit, and I'm sure after spending some time with your professionals, that when they come back to school next term, I think they'll be better for the time well spent. I mean, this is just the first. We anticipate up to 100 children over the next year.
The CARICOM Development Fund has been exhausted, and more developed member states are now being asked to replenish it. The fund was established to assist less developed CARICOM countries, which might be at a disadvantage with the implementation of the CSME. Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM David Comashong says the fund was a contentious issue during the recent heads of government meeting in St. Lucia. However, Prime Minister Mia Motley pledged that Barbados would make its contribution to the fund.
Our Prime Minister has indicated that because of the IMF program, Barbados cannot pay its assessment in one lump sum payment, but that Barbados will pay our assessment in 3 tranches. We'll break it down into 3 payments spread over a period of time.
Ambassador Comashong says Prime Minister Motley also encouraged Jamaica and Trinidad to follow suit. While Trinidad has complied with that request, Jamaica has asked for a temporary reprieve.
Jamaica has asked that, in light of the fact that they're in an IMF program, that they be permitted not to have to contribute at this time, and have indicated that they would be in a position to reconsider the question of contributing at the end of this year. And so that was agreed to.
The Queen Elizabeth Hospital has a very rigid screening system in place to deal with people who are brought to the country for medical attention. This is especially important as the infections carried by both people and animals become more resistant to the antibiotics used to treat them. That's according to Dr. Corey Ford, the head of infection control at the QEH. He says the hospital's National Action Plan Against Microbial Resistance has paid off.
At the hospital level, which I can speak quite well to, we have started an antimicrobial stewardship program, which represents the first antimicrobial stewardship program in the English-speaking Caribbean. This in itself was a feat, and we started initially in our intensive care units within the hospital system, and we have shown tremendous gains in terms of use within the program. In terms of the ICU, we've shown, and we've shown from our data collection, a reduction in costs, which is important in the healthcare system in terms of use of the laboratory facilities. So where in the past we would just randomly do samples, we now do more focused samples on patients to try to derive diagnosis.
Dr. Ford was speaking on the sidelines of an event to launch a partnership between CARICOM, Argentina, and the Pan American Health Organization aimed at making the region stronger in its efforts to fight the growing problem of antimicrobial resistance. He says along with the health component, the region's high dependence on tourism makes it important for officials to come up with surveillance systems to protect the people of the region.
Part of our program is to screen people who are coming from outside into our institution so that we ensure that we actually don't make their bugs be our bugs for the future. Sometimes it is quite difficult to do. So I think there's still a lot of work to do. One of the things that I wish, and one of my dreams, certainly for Barbados, is for more rapid diagnostic testing. If I was going to really encourage the laboratory to get into rapid diagnostic testing, and what that is for early identification of the bugs within hours, basically within days. You can identify which bug it is, what is resistant to, so you can get the antibiotics on board, the appropriate antibiotics on board, so you don't be waiting to treat people.
The PAHO World Health Organization Sub-Regional Advisor for Disease Surveillance and Epidemiology, Dr. Aldona Boisson, has warned that the increasing resistance to antibiotics could have worse repercussions for people than cancer and other epidemics combined. She says if not dealt with now, antimicrobial resistance can push the world back to an era before antibiotics, potentially causing up to 10 million deaths and costing the world economy as much as $100 trillion annually. Speaking during the launch at the Best Dos Santos Public Health Laboratory at Enmore, Dr. Boisson explained that the 2-year project, what it would entail.
That you can do the tests. The second one, to make sure you do it right and you do it well. The third objective is to help the Caribbean to be able to analyze the data that you have and to look at trends and to produce reports. So now you have the data, it's good, you need to understand what's happening, interpret what's happening. And the last objective, which is probably the most difficult, but certainly the most important, in fact it's the one that this is all about, is to actually use that information that you've produced in your reports to inform prescribing practices, treatment protocols, and the use of your antimicrobials overall.
The stage is set for the 2019 Scotiabank Jr Clip Semana competition. The draw was made this morning at Scotiabank Broad Street. There will be 3 categories this year: 6 competitors in the 6 to 10, 7 in the 11 to 14, and 6 in the 15 to 18. Defending monarch in the senior category, Kwan, will be appearing in position number 3. He's confident about retaining his crown.
You know, so that's where I've been performing. You know, it's been great. Been getting our encores many nights, so I'm very comfortable with the song.
All right, we know you also did some good stuff in House of Soca this year. Just tell us about the season so far with Hitting Time.
Well, within 10, I think maybe 3 weeks ago we had the inter-house competition. For me, in the inter-house competition, it was really just about going on and continue, you know, performing, doing what I like to do. So it's really just about being myself, and whatever happens, you know. Ended up being victorious in that competition, so you know that was very good for me. You know, boosted the confidence going forward to the finals.
Checking in with our regional neighbors now to the Cabinet of Trinidad and Tobago. It's planning to establish a commission of inquiry, this time into the acquisition of land for the extension of the highway to Point Fortin. This was revealed by National Security Minister Stuart Young.
An $800 million land acquisition venture riddled with inconsistencies.
And we found that over $500 million, $500 million of taxpayers' money, was expended on the acquisition of parcels of land, and some of the parcels of land, it turned out, were not even necessary.
Minister Stuart Young seeks to justify to the public why Cabinet has decided to set up a commission of inquiry into the land acquisition process for the highway.
A particular public servant who went out and did valuations in his private capacity, and then lo and behold, when the valuations now need to be approved by the Commissioner of Valuations Department, that same person came and actually increased, in some instances, the valuation that he had provided as a private valuator, now increased it and burdened us, the taxpayers, with unjustifiable, according to the preliminary advice we received, unjustifiable values for the acquisition of certain land.
That public servant, he says, is no longer employed with the state, but in the meantime, there are still, according to the minister, 494 parcels of land yet to be acquired. And the state is facing a slew of litigation after some parcels were deemed no longer necessary.
Still in Trinidad and Tobago, the country has been urged to consider a sex education policy for its schools. The call was made once again by the counseling psychologist of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Psychologists.
Counseling psychologist of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Psychologists, Dr. Anna Maria Mora, said she submitted a proposal for a comprehensive sex education program for schools since 2003 to the Ministry of Education.
One of the things about this is that you cannot do something like this for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. I've been doing this for 29 years with young people, and you cannot invite a professional to come and just talk to a class about sex. You know, this has to be an ongoing thing from Form 1 right up to Form 5, 6.
Regional coordinator of the Child Welfare League, Cheryl Allen Ross, said girls often hide the identities of the fathers or they don't know who it is. She added that not enough focus is being placed on monitoring teenaged boys who impregnate girls.
Is that these single teenage fathers, not the adult fathers, these single teenage fathers that never came forward, they continue to impregnate other teens that are going down. By the time they reach in the 20s, they have 4 or 5 children with different mothers. This is an area that we have not yet tapped into because we didn't see a reality in it, but there's a reality.
In Ghana, people joining the public service will no longer have to wait 3 months before receiving a salary.
Once a person has gained employment with the public service, there's a decades-old practice that the individual has to wait months before getting paid. This was one of several issues brought to the attention of newly minted Minister of the Department of Public Service, Tabitha Sarbo-Haley, when she met with staffers within the respective departments under her purview.
Many public servants have reiterated the issue of having to work for 3 months before being paid. I have thus far found no rule or policy that substantiates this. I find this practice unconscionable and thus should no longer be a practice in any government agency after the month of July.
To this end, the minister is working with her staff to remove the bugbear, especially for those persons who are desirous of joining the public service.
So going forward, no one should have to wait beyond 1 month of being hired.
The minister could not say why the practice persisted.
I am not sure. It's just, from what I've been told, it's just somebody made it a policy at some point and persons decided in the ministries to take it up as something that they should do. I don't understand it. As I said in the statement, it's unconscionable. Why would you have somebody working, trying to find food, money to get to work for 3 whole months and not pay them? And so that is something that I think should stop immediately. And if it is that you work out of town, it's actually worse, where sometimes you go 5 months without getting salaries and stuff like that.
One of the big attractions this weekend is going to be the Puff of Color event. Here with me is one of the organizers, Kurt Phillips. Kurt, I understand you are celebrating a milestone this weekend.
Yes, it is. 10 years is a long time, as you know, Sean. We have always said that when we get to the 10th year, we would be doing things a little bit different. For those who don't know, Blood for Color has always been a DJ event. It has grown from the numbers from Harbour Master to the garden down at the Jolly Roger to the quarry to where we are now. It has grown throughout the years as a DJ event. This is now the evolution of Blood for Color. So you will see some new things this year. We're going to have some artists along with us.
You know, you experienced some problems last year, security-wise. I don't know if that has caused you to rethink your security, to rethink how you're going to manage the event.
Well, security is always one of the top things on our list. We would have had many meetings with the Barbados, with the Royal Barbados Police Force, and they have given us a lot of tips, a lot of ideas, and they will be out in full force along with our own security.
Now tell me about this venue.
When we first came to this area, it was just a lot of bush and a lot of trees. So it took some time to make the area ready. Even if you right now go on Google Maps or any of those other sites, you will see there's still a lot of bush because the site isn't updated. But it is always good for entrepreneurs to open your minds and try to spread your wings, show people that you don't have to do the same thing over and over and over and over.
Yeah, you don't know, this is your boy Mole, aka Daddy Nolan, and this is the countdown to Kaduma. I tell myself that I we're gonna be lucky. Come girls here, Daddy Nolan, them is move like they just get a puppy and take them down low. I down there with them, I down there with them. My party massive, put your hands up in the sky, never see them. Never see them, never see them. People who say that.
Pace versus spec. Does it depend on the wicket? Does it depend on the environment? Or is it the bowler?
I think it's a combination of all three. You understand? But cricket without pace. All the spin got is still need some pace. You understand? And that's the same thing that happens with soccer. In Barbados, you know, there are only a few of us there that's still carrying that flag. Myself, Rick, Blunt, and that sort of stuff, but I do it without shame.
Do we need competition though for this wave that you're pushing?
I honestly think it should go back to 2. It's really, really hard to compare a power song to a sweet soccer song. They both evoke 2 different responses, 2 different sets of feelings, but we'll see how it goes this year. But I still stand for my belief for the 2 competitions.
For all the girls in the gym right now. Keep grinding. Keep grinding.